Hi, I'm Jackson, and I'm going to talk about how to better prepare for an info interview. I'm assuming that you have already read the instructions about how to schedule and prepare for an info interview. If you haven't done so, please go to your Climber workbook, then to the modules page, and follow the link to the 2-hour job search slide deck. Now, let's imagine I'm getting ready for an info interview with a guy named Richard who works for Google. The first thing I do when I schedule an info interview is to think carefully about time zones. We don't want to be an hour late for an info interview because we got confused about time zones, right? A simple way to avoid problems with time zones is to send them a Google Calendar invite. Each person sees the invite in their own time zone. Now it's time to prepare my questions. The best questions are open-ended, or they cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. They are not easy to find answers through a simple web search, and they show you've done your homework. To do that, my next step is always to do some research about the company. We can look at financial data, stock prices, position ranks, etc., news, company culture, employee reviews on Glassdoor, and company's press releases. Then I research about the person. In their LinkedIn profile, look for connections between you and them. Look for skills that they have and that you would be interested in developing in yourself. Look for contacts that you may have in common. Now, a few things to consider. Use 20 minutes, not more than that. Have more questions prepared than you have time to ask. Then, choose the best questions as the conversation goes. Don't ask for a job. Take notes so that you may be more specific when thanking them. Now, let's say that at the end of my interview, Richard told me about Bob, one of his co-workers at Google that I should meet. I email Bob within 24 hours asking for an info interview and email Richard back, thanking him again for the new contact and telling him of our scheduled call. After I interviewed Bob, I email Richard again and let him know how helpful that was. An attitude of gratitude is always helpful. Now, let's talk about the thank you note. 1 or 2 days after I talk to Richard, I want to send him a thank you email. However, I want him to see that it is a genuine, personalized email. I include specifics of our conversation, which also helps him remember me. But life's busy, right? If I write this email 2 days from now, I may forget what we talked about, or even forget to write and send the email. To make sure you are specific and don't forget to send the email, here's a simple tip. Let's write it right away and schedule when the Gmail is going to send it. To do so, I click this arrow. Then click Schedule Send. And then you may choose one of the preset options or even pick a time and date when the email is sent. I usually prefer sending it at 7:57 or 8:03 instead of 8 o'clock sharp. It looks more natural. Finally, I update my networking sheet on the Climber's workbook. It will make it easier for me to remember who I talked to in each company and what I talked about. It is also helpful when I'm reporting my KPIs. This can greatly enrich my cover letter and even help me answer the question, why Google, when I'm interviewing with them. There's a lot of power in mentioning those names, and it shows how interested I am in Google. Good luck!